Hello, everybody. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time to do Taroscopes again. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Gemini. That's Gemini Sun, Gemini Moon, Gemini Rising for the month of October 2025. Before I get started, I want to welcome my new subscribers. Welcome to this lovely community of like-minded souls. To those of you, my tried and true, who have been with me for years, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your continued support. To my new members on my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for supporting my work. There are more videos to come, a few more deplorables, a few more adorables. For those of you who want to know what I'm talking about, I do have a membership. There are 2 levels. They get they get everything earlier, and then they get specific videos just for them. So if you're interested, you can check that out. And for my Patreon folks, thank you for your continued support and for your growing support. I really do appreciate that. Okay, let's get into it. We're going to start with the astrology of the month and then how it applies to Gemini, and then I'll be doing a card reading. I will timestamp in case you're not so interested in all the astrology, but certainly the timestamp for the reading, so you can jump right to it. Okay. Let me do this. Oh, good. Here we go. All right. So we're gonna get to the astrology. Okay. So before we get into the planets, let's talk about the vibrations some. We are in a 9 universal year, so this is a year of separating out the wheat from the chaff, what's useful, what's still useful in your life, and what is not, and what do you need to let go of. And you could be letting go of all kinds of things. You could be letting go of actual things, cleaning out your house, letting go of people, relationships. Some of these let goes are relationships we wouldn't necessarily want to have to let go of, but fate and circumstance, we're being released in a way from it. So, and that's it. The 9 vibration is the universal year vibration. So it's a year-long process for us, right? It's connected to the wisdom of the hermit. Um, it is a card of healing. It's a card of wisdom. It's a card of universal brotherhood for all. And that's really what we need to come to, uh, a compassion for all beings, for the earth, for the animals. And we need to understand um, that perhaps we don't need to fight, but we need to work together, and share the wealth of our knowledge and the wealth of our resources, um, in order to create this sort of uh, new world. But it's the future is for the young, so they're going to be a big part of making the decisions. I think they already are, actually, and it's okay. It's okay. I think things do bend in the direction of justice. I really do think that's true. Um, we s- okay, so we have the 9 vibration, and then we have the month vibration. The month vibration is the 10. It's the 10th month. The 10 in the tarot is the Wheel of Fortune. And so the Wheel of Fortune is about changing fortunes. So we will see changing of fortunes for people. People who are on the bottom will be on the top. People who are on the top will be on the bottom. But it will turn. The wheel turns. The wheel is always changing. And so it's not about who's on top and who's on the bottom, more than it is staying centered. It requires the 10-1 requires us to center Um, and it's connected to Jupiter in your chart, that particular card. And so where do you have Jupiter, right? Or where do we have Jupiter on this month, right? We have Jupiter in Cancer. Cancer is about taking care of each other, not hurting each other. Um, so if we take the 9 and the 10 and we add it, we get the third vibration we're working with this month, and that's the Sun, which is about illumination. So we can expect there to be a lot of illuminations this month. The Sun card is connected to oppositions, astrologically, because it's in an opposition that we have an awareness, something comes to light. Just like every morning the day comes to light, right? Something is exposed. And we have a full moon, that's always an opposition. That's in Aries, sign of the I am. We have an opposition of Venus and Saturn. We have an opposition of Venus and Neptune. We have an opposition of Mercury to Uranus. And I think there's one more opposition that I'm missing. Perhaps not. So awareness around our resources, awareness around what's important to us, awareness around our relationships, and an awareness of our connection to our own higher mind, our ability to connect with the higher mind. That's really what this path is also about. The higher mind resides on the tree of life here. And so we have two connections to that, one coming through Venus here, one coming through the Sun. So Sun Venus stuff is very important. We have these Venus oppositions here. The Sun this month is in conjunct the transpersonal planets of Uranus and Neptune. It's interesting because Uranus and Neptune came together in 1993 in Capricorn. So people born in 1993 have that conjunction in their chart. It was a 22 master vibration year. So those two planets now are making a sextile to each other. It's really the first time they've had an opportunity to interact since that conjunction in 1993. These are long-term cycles. So very interesting, the time we're in and the things that happened, especially last month. It really shifted a lot of things, and if to me it feels like planetary energies working through people and working through situations. So we're being asked to get our shit together, quite frankly. Woo. All right. So we have Venus moving into Libra. That's really good for Venus because she's in a sign that she rules. Venus in Libra is about diplomacy. It's about conversation. It's about listening to each other. And it is in a grand trine with Pluto and Uranus, who are right now in a trine to each other. And this Pluto-Uranus energy, we're looking back at, you know, 65 and 66 when these two planets made their conjunction. This is the expression of that conjunction. Um, I just had a thought. Instead of focusing on what the enemy is doing, focus on what you're doing, right? That may be the 19-1 energy. We have a conjunction between Mercury and Mars on the 19th of October, 20 of Scorpio. This is maybe using your words as a weapon, or it could be using your words for deep healing. Scorpio is about dying to the old and being reborn to the new. It's transformational. Mercury is the mind, right? There needs to be a shift in the mind, in the consciousness. On the 21st, we have the new moon in Libra. New moons are opportunities to start something new, and Libra is relationships, maybe a new way of relationships. Maybe it's time to connect, be a bridge, right? Be a bridge. It says involvement in humanity's evolution of wisdom. That's the 29th degree of Libra. We take from our ancestors and pass to our descendants, and thus co-create the flowing and flowering of knowledge. 29 of Libra. Opportunity to be a bridge between the past and the future. And we create the future by being in the moment that we're in. And so the best thing we can do right now is just be in the moment of our lives. And whatever you're doing, do it to your best ability. And do it with love, even if it's something that maybe you happen to not particularly like to do. But a mindfulness, a beingness. If we're truly co-creative, we can recreate this world, and we do it with our intention, and we do it with our love, and we do it with the work of our hands. But we have to stand together, right? We have to stand together. Neptune on the 22nd, so the next day, Neptune, which has been in fiery Aries, warlike Aries, falls back into Pisces, back into the great cosmic sea. He's Neptune. I guess it is going to be there for a couple of months, and then I think it's January, it's going to move back into Aries. So this is sort of like almost like a baptism, dunk him in the water, and then he gets to emerge in Aries with Saturn. So at the same time, we have the Sun in conjunct Neptune, because the Sun is at the end of Libra and then moves into Scorpio. So we have the Sun moving into water, and we have the Sun moving from air to water, and we have Neptune moving from fire to water. So there's starting a more preponderance of watery things, and we can even look at the month: water, 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 water. And water, right? Neptune, water, 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 water. The water signs are well represented this month. So that's a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, a lot of having to go with the flow, quite frankly. The Sun then, because it moved into Scorpio, gets challenged just like Mercury did when it moved into Scorpio, becoming the focus of a yod, and getting squared by Pluto. The Sun is our sense of ego, right? It's ego. But in Scorpio, it's the sign of the surrender of the ego. So this could be a surrender to the soul, to call in that soul energy, which is uniting, not dividing. You see, and so there's an opportunity for us to unite in the common cause of love, the common cause of care and concern. we have then Mercury become part of a grand trine with Jupiter and Saturn, which are also trine each other right now. And that's part of the cycle that started in December of 2020 when those two planets conjoined in the first degree of Aquarius. To some, the beginning of the Aquarian age. To me, the idea that like now it was general knowledge that people believed in an Aquarian age. I don't think a lot of people had that awareness necessarily in the way that they have now. Um, so that's good because it brings stability and expansion at the same time to our minds. So I feel like this maybe I think it's just I think we just have to let the energy take us where it's going to take us because it's going to take us out of this hellhole, quite frankly. But again, we have to trust. We have to trust. The North Node is in Pisces. It's about faith. It's about faith, right? Faith in the future. Mercury conjunct Mars. Um, we have then Mercury trining Neptune, and then Mercury enters Sag, and then opposes Uranus. Mercury is the mind. Uranus is the higher mind's oppositions bring awareness. This could be a big download from our higher minds or a vision of the future. And then October 30th, we have Mercury sextile Pluto, 2 of Sag Aquarius. This is a progressive Aquarian sextile about moving in a more progressive direction. And it is Mercury, which is the mind, and it is Pluto, which is power. So I think the idea of the more progressive ideas are starting to become more, much more. What's the word I'm looking for? Attractive to people on all sides. So it'll be interesting to see, but it really is about, this time is about creating foundations for the awareness that we've received through these transpersonal planets, Pluto and Uranus in the 60s, Neptune and Uranus in the 90s, um, and Neptune and Saturn 89, and now in 2026. It's a different world, man. And hopefully we'll progress in the right direction. Okay, let's go to Gemini. So this is everything I've already talked about, but where it sort of falls in your chart, especially the Gemini risings. Here's Uranus in the first house. Uranus is it's explosive, it's revealing, it's not and it's your identity. Who are you, right? And it's this constant like uh I don't know, like constant barrage and shock, a lot of shock to the system, and challenging your sense of self maybe. Whereas we have Jupiter in the second house in Cancer. So there's an expansion of what you love. There's an expansion of the things that are important to you. Maybe an appreciation. Maybe more resources coming to you. Jupiter is very generous, and the second house is your house of money. So there could be a lot of money, but that money with Jupiter money like this, it's more easy come, easy go. So even if it's there now, it may not be there a year from now unless you take the steps to put some of that aside. Um, we have Venus starting the month in your fourth house. And then, relatively quickly, right? I think was it this the 6th. It was early in October. It moves into uh, Libra, where it trines Pluto and it trines Uranus in your fire houses, your houses of identity, your house of romance, your house of your beliefs, right? Justice and all of that. That's all connected with this trine that Venus makes. The sun in your fifth house, your focus, your energy is in creative endeavors. It moves into the sixth house. And then it's more about work, and it can also be about health when it's in Scorpio. Mars is in Scorpio all month. It starts there, ends there. And that's your sixth house. So Mars can be inflammation. So be aware of that. I mean, inflammation, and also this house for you is your sort of generative organ. So that's just something you think about when Mars is moving through there. There could be irritation, or it could be something is getting a deep healing. It could be a deep healing around uh, a sexual issue, because we're dealing with Scorpio, something that's sort of getting healed or getting revealed, because we are in the time of the sun, right? Um, Mercury starts in Libra, a fellow air sign. And of course, Mercury in Libra is about coming to consensus, right? Coming to some sort of balance. It then moves into Scorpio, where we're dealing with more emotional issues, a little bit harder to really know what's going on. Adjustments needed. We have that yod to from Uranus and Saturn on that. Um, and then Saturn up here in back in the 10th house, and then Neptune moving back when it moves back into Pisces, where it'll stay and then come back out in next January, February. Um, the full moon is with the full moon in the 11th house and the sun in the 5th house. This is the axis of love, and so there could be an illumination around love. We have the new moon in your house of creative self-expression, so this might be a good time to start a new project. Remember, it's at 29 degrees of Libra, that new moon. So there's been a lot of relating. There's been a lot of uh, attempts to find balance. And there's also been a lot of extremes. Libra can be very extreme. Um, but there is this maybe sense of trying to come to some sort of understanding and balance, and then getting into the healing of it. All right, I think that's what I want to say. I know that I went on kind of long, so apologies for that. Let me grab a deck, and I'll do a reading. Hold on one second. I gotta go. I gotta go get one over there. Okay. I selected the Fountain Tarot. It's hard to read it. It's sort of faded away. I've had it for a while. I actually like this deck for political readings. Not that this is a political reading, but all right. So what does Gemini need to be aware of? What's the message for Gemini for the month of October 2025? Let's see what the cards have to say. I first saw these cards on Amanda Ellis's channel years ago. Years ago. All right, let's see. We have the Page of Wands starting us off today is the Page of Wands. Look at that little kid. Cute little face there. So this is the message. This is a new message. So I don't know if you've received a message or if you're giving a message. I guess we'll see as we continue this reading. Let's see the challenge. The Ten of Cups. The Ten of Cups. The challenge to the Page of Wands. So the crossing card is the Ten of Cups, which is abundant love and all of those things. I'm going to continue because I think it's going to reveal itself. Underneath it all, we have the Four of Coins, which is about protecting your resources. And your resources aren't just your money. Your resources are your energy. Your resources are your attention, how you spend your time. Time is limited on planet Earth. And so how you spend your time on planet Earth matters. That's why they say matters, right? Because it's matter. All right. So this looks, at this point, we have the message challenged by happiness. Um, and then underneath it is this need to be protective of the resources. It could be the challenge as this is a happiness card, that it's challenged that we're not happy, that we find or we're questioning what is true happiness. Let's see, in the past. In the past, we have the Hermit. So you've spent some time thinking about this. Maybe you've isolated yourself, or maybe this is us all being isolated um, in this sort of new world that, in the sky, the Five of Coins. So there's a lot of worry about resources. You're having a lot of worry about resources. Um, you feel like there may be a resource lack coming for you. Interesting, because Jupiter's moving through your second house. A new project coming up. So this to me says that you've been thinking about um, the Page of Wands starts the reading, right? So that's the idea, the message, and then we have the Ace of Wands in the place that would be how we're going to spend this month, and it's creatively. This is about new creative endeavors. It is a 9 vibration in the system I use. It's a 27-9, the Ace of Wands. And that 9 is about endings, but it's also about beginnings, right? And we're in a 9 year, so that's significant. That's significant. So there's this energy of letting go and then creating. It's not loss. It's it's a release of the energy. It's a release of the energy that in a way that it can be utilized for creative purposes. And and I think Venus being in Libra and then making that trine, Venus for you would be your fifth house of creativity. Um, how it seems from outside an ending. Something has come to an end. Something has come to an end. In the domestic situation, the Two of Wands, This is about working, two things working together for something useful. So this is about two people getting together, ideas coming together so we can be of use. So there's an inventiveness in your domestic situation. You may be coming up with a new idea or a new invention, something that's going to be utile, help people. Um, your hopes and fears, the Three of Cups. This is a card of friendship, and so unless you have the wrong kinds of friends, I think this might be a hope. Maybe you want to hope to get together with friends. I like that. I like that for you. You're gonna get together with friends. The outcome is the Four of Swords. This is about resting the mind. So I feel like the creative endeavor that you're doing, whatever creativity that's coming up and getting expressed now, is allowing you to use a different muscle. So sort of getting out of your head and getting into the creative process. And I think that's going to bring a restfulness to your mind. Um, Creativity is a great way to uh, feel joy, let the joy flow, and your mind can be, can be a miserable place depending on your thoughts, right? Like how you see the world. And so that when you're coming from a more creative place, you're coming from a heart place. So it's not, it's just different. And I think it heals the mind. It helps to heal the mind. And then we get the sun, the card of this is a big month, Gemini, Gemini sun, moon, or rising. Um, this is a big month. Wow. Underneath it, we have the Five of Wands, which is um, fighting amongst a group, people vying for the top banana. Um, it is creative though, but it is disruptive. The Two of Swords coming to some sort of um, détente, some sort of balance, some sort of mental balance, and the Eight of Swords not being. So this is about not having freedom of speech. So yeah, this is uh, this is all sort of born out of a frustration of that the mind can't solve the problem. I think it has to come from the heart. That's what I would say. All right. Let's pick a um, let's pick a crystal card. I just lost my crystal cards. What did I do with them? I know they're right here. Nope. I apologize for not for like losing my cards here. I lose these cards. They have to be right here. Oh, here they are. Oh yeah, under this. Okay. Put them under a whole nother thing. Put something right on top of them. So let's see if we can come up with a crystal that's going to aid the Gemini this month. It's a pretty intense month, but really good cards. I really like these cards for you, Gemini. Um, it's time to shine, man. It's time to shine. All right. We have hematite. This is the second time this one's come up. This is a card of, it came up in Aries too. This is a card of manifesting your light. Hematite has an ability to take in the light that's coming in and aid you in manifesting on the physical plane. It's a grounding stone. So it helps you to ground into the earth and become sort of a conduit of the light to the earth. And really that's kind of what we are as humans. We're a bridge between heaven and earth. And when we're in alignment, instead of all this conflict that we have, but it's through conflict that we find the center. And so it's not, it's always, there's always this sort of energy, right? But this is really helpful. So for you, Geminis, I want you to have a piece of hematite, walk around with it. It's protective. It'll help keep your feet on the ground. There's a lot of energy shifts right now, and it's a very heady time. It'll be very difficult to sort of keep your head. So in order to keep your head, you got to keep your feet on the ground. All right, that's the story. You have yourself a great month, and I'll see you again in November. Okay? All right. Namaste.